Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about presence, because it is not just about being in the room, but about the impact you leave behind when you're no longer there. Many people think that going no contact means cutting someone off and waiting in silence, hoping they will feel your absence. But true power doesn't lie in waiting. True power lies in making your absence impossible to ignore. When you walk away from someone, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, or a toxic situation, you don't just vanish into thin air. You don't fade away like a forgotten whisper. No, you rise. You shift the energy. You become something so strong, so undeniable, that your absence speaks volumes louder than words ever could. Disappearing in silence is passive. Owning your absence is an active choice. And that is the difference between moving on with power and simply hoping for someone to notice you're gone. When you own your absence, you don't just cut off communication, you redefine the space you once occupied. You don't shrink away into the shadows, waiting for someone to come searching for you. You step into your own light. You reclaim yourself, you make your presence felt, even in your physical absence. How? By growing, evolving, and becoming someone who is so much more than what they once had access to. Think about it. What makes someone miss another person? Is it just because they stop talking? No. People don't miss silence. They miss energy. They miss presence. They miss what someone brought into their life. So if you really want someone to feel your absence, then you must ensure that your presence was something unforgettable in the first place. And even if they didn't appreciate it before, they will feel the difference when it's gone. This isn't about playing games. It's not about making someone suffer just for the sake of it. This is about self-respect. When you walk away, you don't do it with bitterness or with the hope that someone will chase you. You do it because you know that your value doesn't depend on someone else's recognition of it. You do it because you respect yourself enough to no longer beg for someone's time, effort, or love. And when you own your absence, you don't just stop responding to texts. You elevate yourself in ways that make it clear you are not the same person they once knew. You are evolving, growing, becoming. You are stepping into the most powerful version of yourself. You are living, thriving, succeeding, so much so that they begin to wonder if they ever truly knew you at all. That is what leaves a lasting impact. That is what makes them feel your absence like an earthquake, shifting the very ground beneath them. It's a shift in energy, a transformation that they can sense, even if they don't have direct access to you anymore. Maybe it's through mutual friends who mention how incredible you're doing. Maybe it's through your social media, where you radiate happiness and confidence without even trying. Or maybe it's just the realization that they can no longer reach you the way they once could, that you are no longer available to them in the way you used to be. That is what shakes them to their core. And here's the truth. When you truly own your absence, you stop caring whether they notice or not. You don't do it for their reaction, you do it for your own growth. But the irony is, the moment you genuinely stop waiting for them to feel your loss is the moment they start to feel it the most. Because nothing is more powerful than someone who walks away and never looks back. You are not weak for leaving. You are not weak for choosing yourself. And you are certainly not weak for refusing to settle for anything less than what you deserve. So don't just disappear. Own your absence. Make your glow up so real, so undeniable, that the void you leave behind becomes the loudest thing they've ever heard. Because a woman who truly values herself, she is never forgotten. There is something about an unfinished story that lingers in the mind long after the last page has been turned. It stays, unsettled, unresolved, playing on repeat like a song that never quite reaches its final note. That's what you need to become, the story he can't escape, the one that haunts him, not because of what happened, but because of what could have been. See, most people think closure is the key to moving on. They want the final conversation, the last words, the explanation that wraps everything up neatly. But let me tell you something. True power isn't in closure. True power is in leaving a story open-ended, in walking away without the dramatic goodbye, without the desperate need for validation. Because when something is unfinished, it keeps playing in the back of a person's mind long after they thought they had moved on. Men don't crumble because of your silence. They crumble because they can't figure you out. They crumble when they realize they never really knew you at all. When you stop being predictable, when you don't react the way they expect you to, that's when you become unforgettable. You see, most people, when hurt, follow a pattern. They beg, they plead, they demand explanations. They send angry texts. They post sad quotes. They try to make their absence known through drama. But the problem is, drama is temporary. Drama is noise, and noise eventually fades. What lasts is mystery. What lasts is the unknown. The what if, the what could have been, the version of you that he never fully got to experience. That's why you don't explain yourself, you don't chase, you don't send long paragraphs trying to make him understand your worth. Because the truth is, if he didn't see it when he had you, he doesn't deserve a front row seat to your transformation. Instead, you make yourself unforgettable, not through words, but through actions, through the undeniable, unstoppable growth that makes it clear you are not the same person he walked away from. You evolve in a way that makes him realize he only got a fraction of who you truly are. And the worst part, he will never get to see the rest. That's what drives a man crazy, not just losing you, but realizing he never even had all of you in the first place. The curiosity eats away at him. He wonders, what else was there? Who was she really? What would have happened if I had just been better, just tried harder, just stayed? That's the unfinished story that keeps him up at night. Because let's be real, people always want what they can't have. And when something is complete, when it's wrapped up in a neat little bow, it's easy to put it away, to file it under the past and move on. But when something is unfinished, when there are still unanswered questions, unresolved emotions, and unspoken words, that's when it lingers. That's when it follows a person no matter how hard they try to outrun it. And the best part? You're not doing this for him. You're not creating this mystery to make him suffer. You're doing it for you. Because you were never meant to be someone's afterthought. You were never meant to be a chapter that someone skimmed through only to put the book down when they got bored. You were meant to be a masterpiece. A story so rich, so deep, so compelling that it stays with people long after they've lost the right to read it. So let him wonder. Let him second-guess every choice he made. Let him hear your name and feel a pang of regret so sharp it takes his breath away. But don't wait for that moment. Don't waste your time hoping he realizes your worth. Because by the time he does, you will be so far ahead, so busy living your best life, thriving in ways he never imagined, that his regret will mean nothing to you. You are not someone's fleeting moment. You are not a story that ends when they decide to close the book. You are the plot twist they never saw coming, the novel they thought they had figured out, only to realize they barely scratched the surface. You are the unfinished story that he will never escape. And the best part? That's exactly how it should be. There is an undeniable power in being unpredictable. In a world where people lay their entire lives out on social media, where every emotion is turned into a status update and every heartbreak is turned into a cryptic quote, there is something magnetic about the woman who keeps her cards close to her chest. The woman who doesn't give the world, or the men in her past, the satisfaction of knowing exactly what she's thinking, feeling, or planning next. That's the woman who stays on their minds. That's the woman they can't figure out. That's the woman who becomes unforgettable. The biggest mistake people make after a breakup or a fallout is thinking they need to explain themselves. They feel the urge to prove their side of the story, to make sure everyone knows they were right, to ensure that their pain is recognized. But the truth is, the more you explain, the more you give away. The more you reveal, the more power you hand over to others, especially to the person who hurt you. Think about it. When you tell someone exactly how much they've hurt you, when you put all your emotions out in the open, you are giving them confirmation that they still have control over your feelings, that their actions still affect you, that they still hold a place in your heart, even if it's one of pain. And that's the last thing you want to give them. Instead, you shift the power back to yourself. You become the mystery. You become the woman who walks away with grace, with silence, with the kind of quiet confidence that makes people question everything they thought they knew about you. You don't let them see you crumble. You don't let them hear your heartbreak. You don't post sad songs and emotional captions that confirm they still occupy space in your mind. You make them wonder. And that wondering, that is what keeps you in control. Because when someone can't figure you out, when they don't know whether you're hurting or thriving, whether you miss them or have already moved on, that's when they start thinking about you more than ever. That's when the regret starts creeping in, when the questions start eating away at them. Because let's be real, people are obsessed with what they can't have. The moment you make yourself too available, too predictable, too easy to understand, you lose that intrigue. But the moment you step back, the moment you stop explaining, the moment you become a little more elusive, that's when you become fascinating. It's human nature. We chase what runs away, we crave what we don't fully understand, we get bored with what is easily accessible, but we obsess over what is just out of reach. So why would you make yourself an open book when you could be a story worth chasing? This doesn't mean you play games. It doesn't mean you manipulate or pretend to be someone you're not. It simply means you recognize your own worth. You stop over-explaining. You stop justifying your choices. You stop trying to make someone understand your value when they should have seen it from the start. You become intentional about what you share and with whom. Not everyone deserves access to your emotions, to your pain, to your next moves. Some things are meant to be kept sacred. Your healing, your growth, your journey. The less they know, the more powerful you become. And when you do this, when you reclaim your narrative and refuse to be an open book, you shift everything. Suddenly, you're not the one waiting for closure. You're not the one looking for answers. Instead, you become the one who they can't stop thinking about, the one they wish they understood better, the one they regret losing. And by then, you won't even care. Because by the time they realize they should have paid more attention, you'll have already turned the page to a brand new chapter, one where their opinion, their regrets, their thoughts no longer matter at all. The best revenge is not anger. It's not silence. It's not even walking away with dignity. The best revenge is elevation. It's becoming so focused on your own growth, your own glow, your own success, that the people who once underestimated you can do nothing but watch in awe and regret. Because let's be honest, nothing shakes someone's ego more than realizing they lost someone who became better after them. Nothing messes with a person's mind more than seeing you evolve into the best version of yourself, knowing they no longer have access to it. So this is not the time to sit around and replay the past. This is not the time to drown yourself in sadness or waste energy wondering what could have been. This is the time to level up in every single way. You level up your mind. You feed it with knowledge, inspiration, and new perspectives. You read books that expand your thinking. You surround yourself with people who push you to be greater. You invest in your personal growth, whether it's taking a course, learning a new skill, or simply shifting your mindset to one of abundance and self-belief. Because when your mind grows, everything else follows. You level up your body, not for them, not for revenge, but for you. You treat your body with the care it deserves. You eat better, move more, and carry yourself with a confidence that turns heads. Not just because of how you look, but because of the energy you radiate. You walk into a room and people feel the shift. They see the way you carry yourself, the way you exude self-assurance, and they know you are not the same person they once knew. You level up your emotions. You stop reacting to negativity. You stop engaging in drama. You stop wasting energy on people who don't deserve a seat at your table. Instead, you cultivate emotional intelligence. You learn to control your reactions, to master your emotions, to protect your peace. Because when you stop being easily shaken, when you stop being predictable, that's when you become truly powerful. You level up your career and passions. You pour your energy into your goals. You chase your dreams with a renewed fire. Whether it's climbing the corporate ladder, launching a business, excelling in your craft, or exploring new opportunities, you go all in. Because nothing is more attractive, nothing is more unstoppable than a woman who is driven, passionate, and relentless about her success. You level up your circle. You let go of people who drain you, who don't support you, who bring nothing but negativity into your life. And you replace them with those who inspire you, uplift you, and challenge you to be better. Because who you surround yourself with shapes who you become. And you are no longer in the business of keeping people around just for the sake of it. You level up your energy. You stop explaining yourself. You stop looking for validation. You stop seeking closure from people who never deserved you in the first place. Instead, you focus on you. You focus on your happiness, your joy, your peace. You protect your energy like it's the most valuable thing you own. Because it is. And here's the thing, when you level up in every way possible, you don't need to seek revenge. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, because your success, your growth, your transformation, that speaks for itself. And the people who once doubted you, the ones who thought they could replace you, the ones who didn't see your worth when they had you, they will feel it. They will see your name, hear your success, and realize that they were nothing but a small part of your journey, a journey that didn't end with them, but elevated because of them. So level up, not for them, but for you. Because when you become the best version of yourself, you won't even need to look back. They'll be the ones watching you. People may forget what you said, they may forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. That's the power of energy. It's invisible, yet undeniable. It's unspoken, yet impossible to ignore. And in the end, it's energy, not words, that leaves the deepest impact on someone's soul. You see, you don't have to beg someone to see your worth. You don't have to argue, prove a point, or constantly explain yourself. The way you carry yourself, the way you walk into a room, the way you hold your head high even after heartbreak, that speaks louder than any words ever could. Energy doesn't lie. You can say you've moved on, but if your energy is still stuck in the past, if you're still seeking validation, still hoping for a reaction, still watching their every move, they will feel it. On the other hand, when you truly shift your energy, when you detach, when you level up, when you start living a life so full and powerful that you no longer care who's watching, that's when your absence becomes impossible to ignore. Because here's the truth, people don't miss words, they don't miss explanations, they don't even miss the fact that you're gone. What they do miss is how your presence once made them feel. The energy, the warmth, the confidence, the light that you brought into their life. That's what lingers. And when they feel the void of that missing energy, that's when they start to crumble. This is why silence is powerful, not just silence in words, but silence in energy. When you stop reacting, when you stop engaging, when you stop investing your emotions into someone who didn't appreciate them, they feel the shift. And that shift is what unsettles them the most. Because suddenly they don't have access to you, they don't have the ability to trigger you, to get a response, to feel your energy wrapped around them. And that's when they start questioning everything. Think about it. Why do people chase after something once it's gone? It's not just about physical absence, it's about the energetic void it leaves behind. When you were present, your energy was their comfort. They knew you would always be there, always available, always caring, always loving. But when that energy is gone, when they can no longer feel you thinking about them, missing them, waiting for them, that's when the reality of your absence truly sinks in. And that's what shakes them to their core. So if you really want to make an impact, stop trying to prove your worth with words. Stop over-explaining. Stop seeking closure from people who were never capable of giving it to you. Instead, shift your energy. Redirect it toward yourself. Pour it into your goals, your passions, your self-growth. Become so focused on your own elevation that they no longer have access to your frequency. Because the moment your energy no longer feeds them, they will feel the difference. And the truth is, people always realize what they had when it's too late. Not because of the words you said, but because of the energy you no longer give. You don't need revenge. You don't need to wish them harm. You don't even need to hope they regret losing you. Your greatest power is in becoming someone they never thought you could be, someone they never thought they'd lose for good. And when you finally master your energy, when you finally break free from the need to be understood, when you finally radiate a peace that is unshaken by anyone's presence or absence, that's when you win. Not because they miss you, but because you no longer need them to. That's the power of energy. It speaks louder than words ever could. And when you learn to control it, you become truly unstoppable. There is a moment when you realize you don't have to fight for anyone to see your worth. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to explain why they lost you. Because eventually life does that for you. Eventually they feel the absence of what they took for granted. Eventually they crumble under the weight of their own choices. And when that moment comes, you won't need to watch, because you'll be too busy moving forward. You see, too many people make the mistake of waiting for that validation. They want to see the regret in his eyes. They want to hear the apology, the confession, the desperate plea to come back. They want to witness his downfall, to know for sure that he finally understands what he lost. But the truth? If you're still waiting for that moment, if you're still checking his social media, still wondering if he's suffering, still hoping for that "I miss you" text, then you haven't truly let go. And if you haven't let go, then he still holds power over you. The real flex? Walking away so completely that his regret doesn't even matter to you anymore. Let him crumble. Don't waste a second of your time waiting to see it, because the moment you take your energy away, the moment you stop giving him the privilege of your attention, that's when he will start to feel it. He will feel it in the quiet, in the way your messages stop lighting up his phone, in the way your absence creates an emptiness he never expected, in the way the world feels a little colder without your warmth. He will feel it when he realizes that no one else gets him the way you did, that no other conversation flows as effortlessly, that no one else laughs at his jokes quite like you did. He will go searching for replacements, but all he will find are reminders that you were one of one. He will feel it when he sees you glowing, not pretending to be happy, not trying to make him jealous, but genuinely thriving. When he hears your name and realizes you've become someone even more extraordinary without him. When he looks back and understands that the version of you he walked away from, that was just the beginning. And that's when it will hit him, the weight of what he lost. The realization that he had something rare, something real, something irreplaceable, and he let it slip through his fingers. But by then, you won't even care. Because you'll be so deep in your own evolution, so wrapped up in your own success, your own joy, your own glow up, that his regret will mean absolutely nothing to you. You won't need to hear his apology because you'll already know the truth. You were always enough. He just wasn't capable of seeing it. And that's not your burden to carry. The biggest mistake you can make is thinking that closure comes from his regret, that peace comes from knowing he misses you, that healing comes from watching him fall apart. Because the reality is, closure was never about him. It was always about you. It was always about realizing that you don't need to witness his downfall to move forward. So let him crumble, but don't even look back. Let him feel your absence in every quiet moment, in every failed connection, in every empty space where your energy once existed. Let him live with the regret of knowing he had something extraordinary and lost it. But don't waste your time waiting for that moment. Instead, shift your focus, pour your energy into yourself. Step into your power in a way that makes his regret irrelevant. Because by the time he finally understands what he lost, you'll be too far ahead to even notice.